Join me, Saints fans, in celebrating the 17-year anniversary of the Steve Gleason blocked punt on Monday Night Football, the very first game back in 2006 from Hurricane Katrina. I mean, it's, in my opinion, one of the best and most magical and most surreal plays to ever happen in NFL history, and I just think it's such a cool thing. It helped the city of New Orleans become reborn, gave juice and gave life to this Saints franchise who we're seeing some dark days ahead of this game. So I just wanted to celebrate this. If you guys want to celebrate with me, get in the comment section, like the video, but really awesome play, really cool thing. But without further ado, let's get into today's show. What's poppin', Saints fans? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. So we're going to get into an injury update around Derek Carr, and we're also going to talk about Alvin Kamara and get into some overreactions from that absolutely abysmal loss against the Green Bay Packers yesterday. My name is Trey Straw, and without further ado, let's break it all down. So the injury update around the Saints quarterback is actually pretty positive in retrospect, because when you really think about it, we could have lost DC all season long, and it would not have been good. So he is believed to have suffered an AC joint sprain, and it's not expected to be season-ending. And Dennis Allen today, he said that Carr will be week to week, and he's not ruled out. Now, the timeline to return for Carr will be determined based on the swelling, the pain tolerance, and how mobile he is in that shoulder area. And Ian Rapoport, literally seconds ago, tweeting this Dennis Allen quote saying, "I think we're kind of saying week to week. But again, he's felt better today than he did yesterday. So we're not making any decisions today. We're not ruling anything out. We'll see where he's at as the week goes on. Any indication this is an indication he may have to miss some time." At the end of the day, though, I think that it's not the end of the world. I mean, you're not missing too much time. I really do think that this isn't going to be a serious injury. And Derek Carr's injury history is actually pretty wild when you look at it, because he has shown that he can come back from injuries very quickly. In 2014, during the preseason, he got a concussion. Missed the second game, he returned for the finale. In 2014, had an MCL/high ankle sprain, returned the next game. In 2015, he bruised his thumb, returned the following game. 2016, he had a broken/dislocated pinkie, and he's returned that same game. And then in 2016, we all know about that just brutal and disgusting injury that happened to him, the broken fibula, which he missed the rest of the season, but it happened in week 16. So at the end of the day, it's not like he missed too much time. And in 2017, he fractured his back, and he only missed one game. And just my thoughts on it as a whole, if you couldn't tell, Derek Carr is one tough SOB. If he can go and play, if he's comfortable and he's ready to go, he will be on the field. So I do expect him to be back sooner rather than later. And I do think that maybe you miss this week, probably back next week. And if you ask me, if I'm Dennis Allen, I'm the head coach, I'm saying you're sitting this week. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Don't risk further injury in week 4 when you have 17 games. You see what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense to potentially risk this injury that could flare up again in week 14, 15, 16, 17, like really down the stretch in December and January when you have to be winning games. Like, I don't want to even tease that idea. I think that Derek Carr should sit just this one game. You'll be okay with Jameis Winston. It's going to be all right. Alvin Kamara is back. We're going to get to that here in a second. But Dr. Evan Jeffries, he added some context to this injury. And if you're unfamiliar with who he is, or if this guy looks a little bit familiar, it's probably from the Aaron Rodgers Achilles injury tweet, because he was the one who's like, hey, this is probably what it is. This is what I'm seeing. It might be this, that, and the other. So Evan Jeffries saying that a grade 1 AC joint sprain is day-to-day. Grade 2, it's week-to-week. So it sounds like it's a grade 2, but they haven't confirmed what grade it really is. Grade 3 would be a multiple week issue. Grade 4 through 6 can require surgery. And one thing that I was like, what? Severity will determine severity. I'm not a doctor. I make YouTube videos for a living. I don't know what that means, I'm going to be honest. But it's a good thing, because it looks like you're not going to be missing multiple weeks, and it's looking like he ain't going to have some surgery. But if you want to stay updated on Derek Carr and other news around the New Orleans Saints, I encourage you to hit the sub button. That way you never miss an update, because trust me, you don't want to be at the office with the squad be talking ball and be like, oh my goodness, this injury Derek Carr's going to be out for 2 weeks. Well, actually not. If you would have been subscribed to Saints Now, you would have known that. So you can tell your friends, hey, I'm smart and I know ball because I'm subscribed to Saints Now. So I encourage you to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and lock us in today. My final thoughts on the Derek Carr situation before we pivot to Alvin Kamara, the offensive line just has to be better. What has gone on in weeks 1 through 3 for the O-line is absolutely unacceptable. It is disgraceful to the game of football. It is disgraceful to Saints fans. It's absolutely disgraceful to the city of New Orleans, to the state of Louisiana, and to the great franchise of the Saints. Derek Carr or not, if you have that bad of offensive line play, you ain't winning freaking games. I don't give a damn if you have Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Brett Favre, name a legend, I don't care. If you have one of those guys and the offensive line is playing like they have been, you ain't winning games. And you want to know why the run game hasn't been great? Because the O-line is not doing them any favors. Now, that might be improved when you get Alvin Kamara back, but my point is the O-line has to protect Derek Carr or Jameis Winston or Jake Haener when he's back from suspension. My biggest grievance, I was an offensive lineman growing up playing football. You cannot have that bad of play and expect wins. I'll sit here and say this. You weren't going to go 17-0, but you definitely ain't going to win a lot of games with crappy offensive line play. But if you want to have actually a really good play, I encourage you to check out our new sponsor, Prize Picks. And guys, I'm so excited to tell y'all about them. They're a brand new sponsor here at Saints Now by Chat Sports, so shout out to Prize Picks for making today's shows possible. And if you didn't know, Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. So you might be sitting here saying, hey, Trace, how does it work? So let me tell you, you can pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go more or less in their prize pick projection. So you could also win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch, including NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR. You see what I'm saying? If you watch it, they got it. And man, it's my money and I need it now. You can cash out your winnings with quick scoring, settling, and withdrawals. And if you want to take a look at the projections that I'm, trying to share my thoughts on, I'm going less on Jalen Hurts passing yards. I'm going more on Puka Nacua, 71.5 receiving yards. And DeAndre Swift, more than 9.5 receiving yards, feels like it's free money. Hey, so Maddie, date night's going to be awesome thanks to DeAndre Swift and Prize Picks. And guys, let me just tell you one more time. It is such a great experience. I highly encourage you to get involved and check out Prize Picks. Download the app, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, so let's talk about Alvin Kamara because AK-41, as Sam Ellinger once said, he's back. Because the suspension is officially over. This problem is in the rear view. We're done with it. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Thank God. I'm so over talking about this suspension, and it's time to celebrate. And let me tell you, having Alvin Kamara back isn't just a good thing for the Saints offense. It's a great thing for the entire team. And I think that Jameis Winston brings up some really interesting points. So look at what he said in yesterday's post-game interview, press conference, whatever you want to call it. He's a part of our team that we've been missing. He adds electricity. I'm going to be happy to see him in the building and able to work with him. And again, that's assuming that Jameis Winston gets the start this week. If Derek Carr gets the start, hey, either way, I hope that you guys go check out Prize Picks and, put some money on more rushing yards for Alvin Kamara, because in 2022, the rushing yards, sure, they weren't great, not even 900, but he also wasn't utilized very well. But he is a dual threat guy who has so much pop in his game. The preseason, he looked great. Training camp, he's looked fantastic. Everything that you're seeing on your screen right now, I expect it to be better, including that 40 rushing first downs, 17 receiving first downs. If you see that, you can sit here and tell me right now, or you can't tell me right now, that he is not a massively impactful player. Kamara returns at a very, very important time. You potentially don't have Derek Carr for a few weeks. The Saints are coming off of a bad loss against the Packers. You can't let one turn into two losses. You're playing the Buccaneers this week. If you want to win, Alvin Kamara needs to be a part of that game plan. I think that when he's on the field, it makes defensive coordinators tremble in their boots. You have to get him involved. He comes back at a very opportune time for the New Orleans Saints to get back on track, to get that offensive juice and get that good juju going. So I'm pumped to get Alvin Kamara back. So let's welcome him back. Welcome back, AK41, by typing his jersey number in the comment section. Just spam it. Type 41 times. I don't care, but show him some love. Welcome him back to the Saints because the suspension is officially over. All right, and let's round out today's show. As I promised, we're going to get into some overreactions from the Saints versus Packers game. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Not really excited to get into this one. But overreaction number one. Offensive line has been atrocious. As I said earlier, weeks 1 through 3 have been unacceptable. When you let up 4 sacks every game, and it's not an average. That's not, 6 sacks here, 1 sack here. A few. No, you are letting up 4 sacks every single game. That is unacceptable. You cannot allow that to happen if you want to win football games. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to say it. I think that the offensive line, whether it's the coaches, whether it's the players, they should be paying for Derek Carr's medical expenses, not the team, not DC. I think that linemen should be paying for that medical expenses because they're the ones who let him down. I'm unhappy with how the O-line has been playing. I think it's an absolute joke. I'm at a point where I'm like, trade everyone away, bring me everything new, and let's just start from scratch. Not really, but again, it's overreactions, and I'm just not happy with how the O-line has been playing. But I'm really, really happy about how Alontae Taylor has been playing because, dude, he is him. He has been playing out of his freaking mind in 2023. And my favorite thing about it is the Saints took a gamble on releasing Bradley Roby from that nickel slot position as a corner. But Alontae Taylor is filling in so nicely for him. 14 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, a sack, a quarterback hit, 7 pass breakups, almost a couple of interceptions too. Like, this is a player who has transcended the expectations set out for him. I even said it when he was drafted. I was like, hey, I'm excited for him. Matthew Peterson, a Tennessee volunteer graduate that we have in the office, when he was drafted, he said, dude, the guy's a dog, and he's going to fit in great. And I could not agree more. He has been outstanding this season, and I just cannot wait to see continued development. I mean, his swagger, his demeanor, his attitude. The dude plays football like a New Orleans Saints defender should play. And overreaction number 3. Another defender I think is doing really, really well, Pete Werner. I think he's going to be a breakout linebacker this year. As long as he stays healthy, he is on track for a phenomenal season. I mean, he already has 26 tackles, half of a sack, and 1 quarterback hit. Yesterday, he had over half of his tackles were solo and in open space. I mean, he is a player that has been dominant and has been very, very talented. I really do think that he could replace Demario Davis in the long run. You obviously have to, bring in somebody else, but I have been very impressed with Pete Werner, and I just hope he can stay healthy because I think he should be a big-name linebacker that a lot of people are going to be talking about at the end of the season. So, guys, before I get to my last 2 overreactions, I want to hear from y'all. So give me your biggest overreaction from the Week 3 loss. And I'm telling you, the crazier, the hotter, the better. Like, I want absolutely steaming hot Stephen A. Smith hot takes. Like, red hot. I want it to get absolutely crazy. So get wild in the comment section and give me your biggest overreaction. So, number 4, you got to give Chris Olave a blank check, like right this second. Just write his name, give it to him and be like, hey, Chris, you fill out the rest, okay? It's all you. You're here forever. We'll pay you whatever you want. Give him every penny you can because this season has been unbelievable. 22 receptions, 302 yards, averaging just under 14 yards per catch. Of course, he hasn't found himself in the end zone yet. There's been a couple plays that a penalty, overturned it, or a great pass breakup by the defense, or he was out of bounds, or whatever. But, dude, Chris Olave is on pace to do better than he did last year. We're 3 games in. He's already at 300 yards. He's going to be a freaking stud for a long, long time in New Orleans. And look at this catch, man. This is what he does week in and week out. Remember last week's against the Panthers, the one-handed catch? He literally tipped it to himself and caught it in the same hand. Like, him! He is him! Chris Olave is him! Big play Olave is outstanding. Give him a blank check. Keep him in New Orleans forever and ever and ever. Amen. That's all I got to say. And overreaction number 5. I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to cheat. I think everyone needs to relax, including me. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the exception. I need to relax too. We are in week 4. Guys, it's okay. Everyone take a breath. Everyone relax. Sure, the injuries are starting to pile up, but in retrospect, you look at some of the other teams, they are really banged up. I mean, look at the Packers. Look at the Ravens. I mean, there's some teams that are beat up. And I just got to say this. New Orleans has to turn the heat up. You have to play better. You've been doing good on defense, but the offense has to start clicking. Special teams outside of the Blake Groupie miss, it's been pretty great. Lou Hedley, sure, he could be punting a little bit better, but these guys are rookies. It's going to take time for everything to continue to develop, for the chemistry and for the wheels to get going. It's going to take time, but New Orleans has to turn up the heat, and it has to happen now. So, guys, if you want to just get in my DMs, if you want to tell me I'm an idiot, if you agree with my hot takes, if you disagree, just let me know on Twitter at TraceGerard48. If you tweet me, I'll retweet it, give you a follow back. If you shoot me a DM, I'd love to chop it up with you guys. But as always, I hope you enjoyed today's content. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you tomorrow.